Hey, good Monday to you. It is May the 4th. I wanted to touch on a topic that comes up very frequently. It's plateauing. Plateauing is probably in the top three of concerns with weight loss plans, such as this nutritional one. And listen, let me give you some background on this first. The reason that so many people do so well on this plan and that it's sustainable for so long is that, and no matter what the age you are, is that we cover the 5 elements that are most crucial to transitioning you from fat storage to fat burning, that being food guidelines. So part of the reason some people plateau is because they're eating foods that are a stressor to their body, or it kind of lulls their metabolism to sleep. So my recommendation is to pay attention to the 5 pillars, I call them, and then rotate as much as possible your food choices, because particularly now that it's spring and there's fresh produce, local fresh produce that we can lean on, you actually are at a stronger vantage point than when people start a weight loss plan going into winter in the November range, November-December range. That is much, much tougher, despite the fact that holidays surround that time frame as well. So the 5 pillars, once again, remember, hydration, very important, because that's part of your cellular transport and your elimination. Cellular transport is oxygen and nutrients coming into the cell, exhaust products and carbon dioxide going out of the cell. Remember, this plan is cellular detoxification, not just intestinal. Most people are familiar with a good old-fashioned intestinal cleanse, but this is cellular, so it's whole body. What governs the body is energy, okay? The problem is in terms of confusion, is when the body actually needs to channel its energy, it's going to have a limit to it. So if your body is in need of detoxifying the next layer, so to speak, then it's probably going to put some of your metabolism on hold until it can accomplish that. I hope this makes sense. Think of yourself like an onion, all right? This is just kind of a crude example, basic example. If you're like an onion, the most crucial parts of improving are going to be the outer crusty, drier layers. And once that's handled, then your body will allow movement into the next layer, and so on and so forth until you get to the core. So let me give you an example of what I'm referring to. When I do nutrition response testing on folks, the very first thing I test is to determine how they move forward toward what their root problems are is the nervous system. The brain, the spinal cord, and all the nerve endings that network out. We've got 35 miles of nerves in the body, okay? So that's a lot of nerve supply to the tissues. But before we can do anything else with that particular case, we have to make sure the nervous system is functioning normally, switching back and forth between daytime nervous system and nighttime nervous system. And we also have to make sure there's no confusion within the nervous system, which is very common. I mean, if you've ever had a foggy head or a foggy memory, you know what I'm talking about, right? So part of the layering process I'm referring to, removing layers, is identifying what your barriers are. And the barriers can be food intolerances. There can be certain foods that are your favorites, but they could stress your body unknowingly to you. And that will slow down your metabolism, and it will especially slow down fat burning until the body has an opportunity to handle that. Number 2, pH. Remember pH balancing. There are times when our food choices, our beverage choices, our stress levels, our detoxification level will directly impact, will directly impact our body's fluid pH levels in certain individual fluids. That can affect metabolism and fat burning. Number 3, stress and sleep. Stress and sleep are a pillar. So let me reiterate, okay? Food choices, hydration, stress and sleep. The 4th is nutritional levels, and the 5th is going to be the detoxification piece. So those are ones that you want to be mindful of, not to the point of obsession, but make it your new normal so it kind of runs in the background and becomes second nature to you. That's all I do. It's not, there's no secret to this. You just want to make sure that you're getting proper rest, stress management, they're cousins, You want to hydrate for cellular transport. You want to make sure your food and nutrient supply is optimal. And you want to make sure your pH is balanced in your body. And that has a lot to do with choices. So remember, it's not like this is cookie cutter. It's not cookie cutter at all. And a lot of these elements overlap. So in other words, if you go around dehydrated with warmer temperatures coming and your body putting out moisture, putting out water vapor, if you go around dehydrated in a dehydrated state, you're going to slow your metabolism down. So now that it's becoming nicer, if you go out for walks, you're exercising more, you're working in the yard more, you're putting out water vapor and you're dehydrating your body, well, your metabolism is going to tank on you. So remember, hydration needs to be built into a new normal. You have to have hydration in place. Stress, how does that affect you? And sleep. The body can actually burn fat while you sleep. And there's an intermittent fasting piece we'll talk about later. But for now, stress will impact how much cortisol your body makes at the level of the adrenal gland. Remember we talking about this? This is a walnut-sized gland that sits on top of each kidney, and it makes cortisol. That's our stress hormone. So cortisol has its purposes, but remember, the key to keeping cortisol levels down is finding something that fills your tank back up, that you enjoy, if you have an outlet, so to speak. So maybe it's gardening for some people. Maybe it's playing a musical instrument, playing the radio, going for a bike ride or a hike or a walk or a swim or sewing or quilting. Whatever is your jam, do more of that. Don't do something that you dread. That's more of an energy drain. Some people will say, well, I had to go to the gym and pound out so many miles on the treadmill or elliptical. Did you hear how they said that? I had to. There's a difference between saying I had to and I get to, or I want to, right? I want to hike. I love hiking. I want to ride on my boat. I love to ride on my boat. I love to walk the neighborhood. I love to whatever it is you say that fills your tank back up. That's going to naturally lower your cortisol levels, and that's going to keep you from moving back to fat storage and stay in fat burning. I hope that makes sense. So food choices. Food should always be rotated. Don't just have the same old things like poultry and green beans just because chicken breasts and green beans are easy. And you may like them. Remember, the South is full, don't take this the wrong way, but the South is pretty bland when it comes to food choices. I moved here from New York 27 years ago, and I'm used to all different cultures and food styles and choices up there. And down here in the South, I mean, let's face it, you start breakfast with some type of dead pork and biscuits and gravy. And it's all very bland. And a lot of the food choices in restaurants around here until recently have been bland. Country cooking is quite bland. So spice it up is what I'm trying to say. Mix it up, rotate, spice it up, and you'll stimulate your own metabolism to burn more calories. The other thing I mentioned too is make sure that you're not eating as much fruit at supper time. You can have some if you know there's going to be quite a distance between supper time and bedtime, but you want to go for an evening walk after you eat supper. It helps your peristalsis, it helps your digestion, it helps burn fructose that is in fruit, that's the fruit sugar. So those are all strategies for keeping your body burning calories, burning fat, burning the calories before they become fat, and stimulating your GI tract. I hope this is helpful. If you have questions, please email us at drtimothyderoos@gmail.com. You can always call the office. You're just going to get a slower response that way. It's 423-813-7575. But definitely email us at drtimothyderoos@gmail.com. I love to answer these questions and filter through them. Plus, it gives me ideas for videos. That way we can disseminate this information to the masses, because we got a lot of people on this weight loss plan right now. It's an epidemic like I've never seen before, obesity in this country. And I dare say it's bigger than this COVID-19 if you look at the numbers. Pull the numbers yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. Similar numbers to the seasonal flu. And we're never going to truly know the numbers, folks. So I would just recommend you give all that a break for a while. Pray for the people who have been struggling, who are in poor health, poor physical condition, or their immune system is depleted, they're the most susceptible. I've run into many people who have said they had a case of fever, diarrhea, nausea, which all go along with the flu. And many people I've been talking to, because I've got a pretty huge cross section of people that come through the clinic on a weekly basis, and we've discussed the immune factors. A lot of people have said, I think I may have had it and built up antibodies to it, which is possible because the testing hasn't been out there. But like I said before, many times, your best defense is a good offense when it comes to this. So eat cleanly, go to your farmers markets. Fresh, whole food is best, obviously. And be mindful of trying to replenish and replace and make this a new normal for your family. You can always eat cheaply out of cellophane, paperboard, boxes, and cans, right? But you're not going to get your bang for your buck health-wise. The nutrient density simply is not there anymore. So if you're a gardener, a vegetable gardener, especially in a canner, you're already ahead of the game. It's something I'm trying to work back to myself, just coming up with the time to do it. But it's a very powerful way to get yourself and your family at a better health level moving forward. I believe we've crossed a line that we're not going back from. I believe that there's going to be more testing of society. I believe that there's going to be a new type of order ushered in. And I think this is just our first exposure to it. So hopefully this video will not be pulled down for me saying that by YouTube and censored, because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, we still have freedom of speech in this country. But, this is just conjecture, by the way, too, so just so I can give the disclaimer on that. This is pure conjecture. I'm going off of spirit and gut and just basic life experience. But anyhow, love for you to reach out to us. If you have family and friends that you know would benefit from this plan, being nutritionally based and also life transformative, please share this video. Give us a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe. That way you get instant notification. I don't know why my nose is so itchy today. Does it mean company's coming? I forget what that one is. I think it's company's coming. But reach out to us if you have questions, by all means. And I'll put the link at the bottom of the page here for some standard process products that you can look up, their website especially, and I think it'll be really helpful for many. Give you a starting place anyhow. God bless you. Have a terrific Monday, and I'll talk to you real soon.